Looks like Ja Rule is doing pretty well for himself these days. That's a little inside joke over there on Elon's app. Go ahead, check it out. You'll get it. But anyway, Drake's "What Did I Miss" new record, right? Debuted at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 today. Now, there are a number of things that I could get into on this record, but well, let me show you something. Forget what I think, what I want to say. Drake actually says something about this today. A shocker. He says, well, smiley faces, suppressor. Should I read this in a Toronto accent? Okay, maybe not. Suppressor on the one spot. I'm taking that soon. Don't worry. One song or another, rule changes and all. One song or another, rule changes and all. Then if Drake is insinuating that the rule changes and all is what's happening here and it was done and it's going against him to reach number 1, you got to state that and word that much differently from this, because the rule changes isn't the suppression. The rule changes are the rule changes. Maybe you don't benefit the most from it. The rule changes are the rule changes. Your fans are going to be galvanized and read this otherwise. All right, take a deep sigh here, because I can sometimes be an advocate for the boy. Other times, you lost me. Okay, let me give a disclaimer. So, do I understand that when we're talking music, comedy, whatever, we're talking politics and things like that, the people that are in it, I'm presuming that they have a load of information? Yes. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about what people's interests are, what their agendas are, and I'm also thinking about what I know and the knowledge that I have. I pull it all together, and then we get here. So, in short, I'm trying to say, I think this is Drake being, how do I say this? He's being a bit careless, but for the sake of galvanizing his fans. I think throwing the suppression and suppressor word around is really, really, really loose cannon stuff. And I'll tell you what I mean, right? So other than the fact that the Ordinary song is doing pretty well, the record just came out. So the idea, as some people have been discussing, is how the song is doing on radio specifically is what they're focusing on, right? The things that labels control, right? And you most certainly can't be talking about on streaming, because I see this record plastered everywhere it should be plastered on. So to that, just like I was telling Yaz and Nokia, I tell Drake, and this is a UMG only product, right? OVO, Republic, UMG. Okay, so this is not like something he's doing with Party Next Door, with Santa Ana or whoever, right? So I know that it takes a little while for rodeo to kick up. And also, 2 is more than a respectable debut. So what I'm trying to figure out is a few things. Number 1, if Drake is in litigation with his label right now, and one thing I know about billionaire companies, y'all know I'm not here to defend them, but I am scared of them and I do respect them, right? Well, I respect their reach. I do know that they're not dumb enough right now in the midst of litigation to be doing any type of suppression that Drake would know about. I mean, there's a clip I hear talking about some Kojo. Remember when Drake name dropped Kojo? They trying to subpoena him. He's nowhere to be found. There's stuff like that going on out there. So unless UMG one day just became the dumbest, mind you, this is the Big Four, the biggest label, right? The Big Fours. Unless they just turned stupid, okay, I don't know why you would choose now of all times, okay, to do this. Secondly, I've got to say, this speaks to the hubris of Drake, which is, if it was being suppressed, right? Not that it's right, okay? Even though number 2, respectable debut. I don't know, maybe he's speaking about next week. People are saying that the record might deep dive. You've got a lot of guts, right? To think that you can drag your label into litigation and not expect any blowback. So either way, not that that's right, I'm just saying that's a lot of hubris. Like, that's some real gutsy shit. But I know, and I think he knows, the label wouldn't do that because they're interested, one, in making money. And I respect. In fact, I think I'm more capable of doing the shit that Drake is accusing of. Drake himself is more capable of that, even though he has a team. Corporations, yes, they slimy. Yes, they sleazy. But you know what matters at the end of the day? The bottom line. You know what matters after the bottom line? PR and legal ramifications. Okay. So I'm not saying Drake's lying. I don't want to beef with another. But I am saying that this is a this is probably, in my opinion, a misinterpretation of of what I think is really going on out here and why the whole Ja Rule thing and things like that. Let me deep this just a little more, okay? And the idea is this, okay? The idea is the reality of what's happening to me is just Drake resistance. And the more he keeps doing, that Drake resistance falls off, right? So when we talk about Ja Rule, post battle with 50 Cent, things like that, number one, I don't think Ja Rule has the amount of talent that Drake has. That's just a fact, right? If you just want to go by being able to do more things, okay? So let's move that out the way. So I think Drake will be able to, survive more riffs than Ja Rule. Secondly, you know, Ja Rule's label, The Ink with Irv Gotti, were going through serious criminal stuff with the feds, okay? Drake doesn't have that. Drake has a civil issue in which if the label were sort of, going against him, it would only give him and his attorneys more evidence, you understand, to win their case, right? And you would say, well, what they're doing in the background, we're doing in the background, then how does Drake know? Doesn't make sense. You should only be saying things that you can prove, right? Make sense? Okay. So with all that said, what really is Drake resistance? So after the battle, after everything happened, there's resistance. People are like, oh, I don't look at Drake the same. He's corny. That resistance starts falling off little by little. So you do the plot twist. You do records, some of it throwaways, right? Some of them, you don't put them on streaming immediately, so you don't get the same amount of listens, but they infiltrate the sort of musical rap world, and it brings some of that Drake resistance down. Like, okay, maybe it's not that bad to listen to Drake. Okay, maybe he's still, and then that resistance starts coming down. So that's why those songs, they do. All right. Then the next thing is you do the Party Next Door. You do features too, remember, but you do the Party Next Door joint. Now the Party Next Door joint, especially since it's more R&B, that Drake resistance comes down a little bit. Now it's not doing as well as Drake way back in the day, or in 2023, but it does better than the plot twist stuff. It's rolled out a bit better. It's an album. It's a project with another artist, and it's Santa Ana, UMG teamed up. The budget might not be the same from UMG Republic, but you get the point. And then Nokia pushes that down a lot more, that Drake resistance. So the audience is like, okay, all right, it's still cool to listen to Drake, because remember, Nokia didn't debut at number 2. Right? It rose to number 2. So that resistance had to come down a little bit, right? You're hearing it outside. Then finally you get to now, where you now see the resistance coming down a little more, right? What did I miss? A good record, a good vibe. I don't think it's like a smash hit. In fact, Nokia is more of a hit than What Did I Miss to me, right? But it's a good. Now, so you come in, debut number 2. You can tell that there's less resistance. And then now when as you push in this album, you do more features. You just did Wireless. The next one you probably put out, especially if it's a smash hit and there's not that much crazy stuff going on the chart, then that resistance is down. Boom, you're normalizing Drake again. I think that's closer to what is happening here. That is closer. What you are trying to prove in court is closer to what's happening, which is UMG went in, they devalued you. Yes, you being devalued should be showing up on a chart. And the fact that your example of devalue is being number 2 debut instead of number 1 says a lot. With love, Drake. This is a bit callous.